every episode we're gonna highlight one college football team from Division I in our state, and we're gonna talk about the team, mention the coach, kind of discuss who they are as a team, what they've been up to the last couple of years, and we'll highlight their best players coming into next year and where they're projected to go, their recruiting classes, some of that kind of stuff, Jordan. And we're gonna start with the Akron Zips. That's your go-to team. Your go-to team when we start our franchises. How are you feeling? As you're kind of an outsider in the Akron Zip world. So what are your thoughts there?
I think they're above the middle of the pack for their conference. They took
they're not. Unfortunately, they're not, dude. They're really bad.
I think they're going to do better. So we see the graphic there. We know they went 3-9 last year, but they're known for.
That's what they're projected to do this year.
That's what they're projected.
Okay, let me read it for you. And then we'll get into it. Okay, starting fresh.
3-9.
Akron. They are in the Mid-American Conference. They play at Infocision Stadium, solid stadium for the MAC. Head coach Joe Moorhead, he is 4-20 in his tenure at Akron. They have gone 2-10 the last 2 years. They are rivals with Kent State. Looking into the team, again, like I mentioned, they have struggled. They are projected to finish 3-9 this year, second to last in the MAC. That is rough. We're going to cover the team that is going to finish last in the MAC, and they're projected to even finish worse. So tough go of it for the MAC, a little MACtion. But recruiting class-wise, I do want to shout out Akron. They were 106th ranked class in the country. They had 19 commits, and they were the 95th transfer class with 13 commits. They had a lot of 3-stars coming in. I think they might be able to finish above 3-9. They do have a hard schedule to start the year. Jordan, they play Ohio State week 1, and they are 51-point underdogs against us. So they're off to a rough start. They play Rutgers, Colgate, and South Carolina. So they definitely have an uphill battle to start the year, Jordan. But then you get into MAC play, and anything can happen in MAC play.
Right.
It just takes the team getting hot. So like I said, Ohio State, Rutgers, Colgate, South Carolina, Ohio, Bowling Green, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Buffalo, Northern Illinois, Kent State, Toledo. So that's the full slate for them. What I did like about Akron, though, Jordan, while doing my research, is they went out and got a quarterback from Cal who could be potentially their starter. He's projected right now to be the starter. He didn't get a ton of reps at Cal last year, but he definitely comes in with that kind of that feel like, hey, this could be our starter. He's experienced that at the Power 5 level. And that's kind of what we're looking for. If you look at their roster based on last year, they had a dual threat quarterback come in. Taj Bullock, not a great passer, 48% passing, threw for 3 touchdowns, but he was a good runner when he did. He ran for 165 yards, rushed for 4 touchdowns. Might see him a little bit in a couple packages. But Ben Finley will be the projected starter for Akron, the quarterback. And then we've got Brian McCoy, a really solid middle linebacker for Akron. Led the team in tackles with 95 tackles last year.
That's impressive, no matter where you're at.
Yeah, no, exactly. 95 tackles. He had a sack, a forced fumble, and just a good player. Scored on a fumble touchdown also. Really good player, Brian McCoy, linebacker. And then the last player I wanted to highlight for them was CJ Nunnally, the 4th. He is a D lineman. He had 65 tackles, 35 solo, 30 assisted. He led the team with 7 sacks last year, He had 2 passes deflected on the D-line and forced a fumble. So while the offense may be a big question mark for Akron, I do think they have some solid pieces on defense. They also had another linebacker. His name was Atavius Fish, 94 tackles last year. So 2 very solid linebackers to go with a good defensive lineman. Maybe they win 4 or 5 games, if they get hot. But
we can push for 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year, but we wanted to stop and highlight Akron because we're going to go through all these colleges. We're going to have a similar layout every week, and we wanted to touch on them and mention Akron because besides Ohio State, Cincinnati, not a lot of these teams get a lot of rub in the state of Ohio when we start talking about D1 football. So we're going to highlight some of these teams and go over their rosters, their best players, their recruiting classes, that kind of information, and just give them a little bit of a spotlight every week. So week 1, Akron Zips. I love the kangaroo logo, Jordan. That is one of my favorite logos, dude.
It is.
I absolutely love it. Can't wait till College Football 25 comes out and you can start to rebuild these guys because they need your help in the worst way.
We'll be there, brother. July 19th. We'll be there.